to please rate on a scale of 1 to 10. What are the top factors you're considering when you are looking at the location? And just like when looking at a job, when looking at a location, talent is very practical, and money speaks volumes. So 7.8 said cost of living, very important. Housing costs came in at a 7.7. Housing availability, people want to know they can easily find and afford a home. Quality health care, welcoming, friendly local population, alternative job opportunities in the new location. Talent wants to know, if I relocate to Great Falls for this one job or to be closer to family or maybe follow my partner, if this doesn't work out, what's after that? Am I going to find enough opportunities after this one opportunity I'm coming for? And really the takeaway here is that I think a lot of these factors are actually Achilles heels for locations like San Francisco, New York City, but talent has always flocked to those centers because they are epicenters for jobs. And this remote work situation has really leveled the playing field to where now Great Falls can compete on each of these points. And I think a lot of these points we see here on the screen actually bode very well for Great Falls. We just need to nail down what are Great Falls' key messages when it comes to these different factors. So as I said, we've been talking to a lot of people from Great Falls in the past month. And Heather, I'd love to have your take on so far what we're thinking in terms of what could Great Falls' key messages be for these different factors.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Rebecca. So as she mentioned, from the 10 plus immersion tours we did, we are in the process of creating these key messages that really speak to some of these points you see on the screen. So we're strategic in highlighting Great Falls' strengths while also letting talent know what they really care about. So just on the board, cost of living, housing costs, it is significantly more affordable to live in Great Falls than Bozeman or Missoula, with the median home value of about $200,000. Great Falls is the ideal place for Gen Z, those starting out, families to call home, or those who just don't want to put their entire paycheck in rent anymore. The fact that you were named one of the most budget-friendly cities for homeowners in 2020 is huge, and it's something we want to point out. Quality healthcare at a 7.6. You have a top-tier healthcare system with benefits, with state-of-the-art specialty institutes, Alluvion Health, which has brought school-based health centers to Great Falls Public Schools, the welcoming and friendly local population. That's got to be one of my personal favorite things that I heard anecdotally on our tours. It is so incredibly clear that your residents just envelop newcomers, show them the ropes, get them plugged in. I kid you not, Rebecca can back me up on this from the tours. We literally heard, I think it was from 3 separate groups, 3 separate meetings, the same example of if you were to pop a tire on the side of the road, pull over, it would be mere minutes before a Great Falls resident would be pulled over right next to you, squatting down, trying to help you get your tire switched out, which just we thought was the most heartwarming kind of special thing that we heard more than once, because that doesn't exist everywhere. It is special, and it's something that we want to let talent know. If you come to Great Falls, you're going to have that close, tight-knit community built in. And don't even get me started on your outdoor recreational opportunities. You obviously have these in spades for every season, and we want to paint that picture for talent because they might not know what outdoor rec opportunities are in Great Falls, or even Montana if they haven't been. We want to let them know that you can tube down the river that goes through town after work. You can go fly fishing after work because it's in your backyard. And if you're up for like a little drive on the weekend, you can go to bucket list worthy locations like Yellowstone, Glacier, Helena Lewis and Clark National Park. So these are just a couple things that we've learned from the immersion tours and some research that we are crafting to tell talent exactly what they want to know, what they need to know. Moving on to point number 3, talent wants to train. Our research shows that more than 80% of respondents said that they would be willing to undergo additional training or education to shift career paths, yet a quarter don't know of any training programs offered locally or online to help them get there. The majority of respondents also said that they would even be willing to relocate to access free training, which is huge. And this number you see on the screen, 82%, those are just the respondents respondents that said yes. 9% said that they weren't sure, meaning that 91% are at least open to the idea. So these strong numbers, they really confirm that at the very least, talent is interested in upskilling to upgrade their careers. And like many talent attraction initiatives, it's all about making things as easily accessible to future talent as possible. So if you spell out, you could make X amount more money, you can get certified in this amount of time, we think that you might be surprised in the amount of interest you'd really get in those types of programs. And number 4 here, we also really wanted to understand how talent forms their impressions of locations. You'll see here that at 59%, kind of the number 1 answer would be firsthand experience, followed by internet research and word of mouth. We definitely think it's noteworthy that social media followed very closely behind word of mouth at 48%, rising in importance from last year's survey, as did internet research. So we can see from these numbers, it's clear that the best way for talent to learn about locations is to visit the community themselves. So underscoring the importance of tourism, but it's also important to keep in mind that really firsthand experience in traveling, it's a privilege, especially during this time, during COVID, where it's really difficult to up and travel. So beyond visiting a place themselves and hearing about it from friend or family, internet research and social media are really the next most important sources, rising with that kind of digital presence. We did want to point out that you'll obviously note that these don't add to 100%. So respondents were able to choose all that applied to them. In addition to these 3 options you see on the slide, they also could choose social media, media coverage, rankings, and other. And one more point as well, 86% of respondents actually said that a website on living and working in a region is really quite very important, just so they can get that information as easily accessible as possible.
And on the note of word of mouth, really what that tells us is that whatever our talent attraction tactics are, it's not just about telling those messages externally. We need to tell them internally as well to people in Great Falls, because your perception of the region, your pride for the region has a trickle out effect, and it's equally important to make sure that locals are excited about the region and want to share jobs and living information with their peers. AKA, it's good to brag about Great Falls. So our talent attraction marketing mission for this project with Great Falls is really threefold. First and foremost, we need to increase awareness of Great Falls. We're not going to fill jobs in Great Falls if people regionally and in other markets don't even know about Great Falls, Montana in the first place. So we want to first get Great Falls on the radar of talent. Second, we also want to really arm those who are on the front lines of talent attraction. And that's not GFDA, that's the employers in the region who are talking to talent every day, recruiting talent every day, posting jobs. So we want to give you every tool possible for you to really sell location and close on location, so that it's not a challenge for you, it's an advantage for you. And then lastly here, it is equally important to not just market the job, but market the entire career path. Many of the jobs that are open right now, there's simply not enough people trained in those jobs who are willing to relocate. So as Heather said, it's not just about posting a job. We want to really help tell the story on what training programs are available, what companies are investing in training talent, why should talent consider training, what salary are they going to make if they train to this different career. So that's also going to be a big mission for us. A little bit about our project and where we stand, what we'll deliver. Right now, we are in the discovery phase. We just wrapped up several virtual meetings with people across Great Falls, ranging from HR to young professionals to tourism partners. We are reviewing research that GFDA has done previously, and we're developing a SWOT analysis of Great Falls' strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats when it comes to talent. From there, currently, we're actually in the process right now of creating what we call a talent marketing strategy. And this is really going to be, what are the concepts and campaigns that we think Great Falls can go for? Is it doubling down on remote workers? Is it offering some kind of new digital tool for reskilling? We're working on that right now very closely with GFDA on what are those different campaign concepts. We're also doing a digital strategy. So looking at Great Falls' existing talent site and social media and figuring out ways to really boost those up, all the great work that's already been done. And we're also developing key messages. So similar to what Heather showed and shared, we want to fine tune what are the exact points that we say to talent when we're talking to talent on what makes Great Falls strategically great. Because we know we can't just say live, work, play, because every community says live, work, play. And just lastly, and this is the most important part, we do not believe in creating strategies that sit on a shelf and gather dust. What's most important is what we actually do with it. So we will be working with Soren and GFDA across a whole year on execution. And that will include everything from social media content to actual execution, which can include everything from reaching out to media to place stories on Great Falls to adding new content on the website about employers, housing, etc. So that's a bit about our project. And Soren, I will turn it back to you actually.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to follow up on that number 2 of your last slide, the talent marketing strategy. I just want to make everybody in attendance today aware that once we do have that strategy written up and ready to go, we are excited to share it with you guys. So please be on the lookout for another webinar type invite like this, where we will be sharing that strategy so everybody in the community can be involved in the execution. I also want to say that I really like that Rebecca pointed out who's on the front lines of talent attraction, which isn't GFDA, it's our recruiters. And that's really all of the work we're doing at GFDA is for your recruiters. So we know that that is what it takes to bring the talent to Great Falls. So thank you so much, Heather and Rebecca. That was really good. So we will move into some of the communities. We're really excited to have 3 communities here who have also embarked on talent attraction journeys. We will start with Tiffany from upstate South Carolina, and then we will go to Tiffany from Fargo-Moorhead and end with Mike Batt from Northern Virginia. So Tiffany?
Awesome. Thank you, Soren. As Soren said, I'm Tiffany. I guess that's a popular name in talent attraction. I'm the Chief Talent Ambassador for Move Up. So we are located in upstate South Carolina. So we are an economic development organization that covers 10 counties in the upper corner of South Carolina that you see there. We're right between Atlanta and Charlotte on the I-85 corridor, and we have a population at right over 1.5 million in our region, just to set the stage for you there. And in April of 2019, we launched Move Up with the help of DCI. So it's been live about a year and a half now. It includes our job board, which is probably the most visited part of our site. It pulls in automatically from Indeed. And we also highlight cost of living through a calculator and a community map, as well as different quality of life and housing aspects. I'll talk a little bit about our success stories. A lot of metrics here that I threw up for you. The main thing I wanted to point out is that our digital marketing efforts have been successful in pulling in an audience from outside of the region. So you can see a majority of the people who have visited the site since our launch are from outside of upstate South Carolina. A lot of those top metros visiting are the ones we're targeting: New York, Charlotte, Atlanta, DC, Philly, places like that. We market on Google, Facebook, and Instagram. We are starting to wade into LinkedIn a little, but there are just some more intricacies there. Some more quantitative facts to go along with some of the outcomes we've seen are resumes being submitted through the website. So we do have member staffing and recruiting firms who invest in our organization. And one of the benefits we're able to offer to them through MoveUp is the distribution of these resumes to them when they're sent by somebody who maybe happened upon the MoveUp site. They're looking for new opportunities. They email me with their resume and I distribute those out. And we've been successful in helping get some of those folks here to the upstate from other areas. And if you'll hop over to the next slide, I chose to show you guys this because the brand has really been embraced by employers here in our region. So you are looking right now at Global Lending Services careers page. I chose this one because they were one of the earliest adopters of the MoveUp brand, and you can see that MoveUp badge big and bold on their careers page, bigger than their join our team button actually. And after our paid marketing to MoveUp, they are our #1 referral to our website. So employers are really important in the success of a brand. Global Lending is not the only company that links. Some have decided to embed our video. The video has been embraced by the community. It not only highlights our quality of life, but 3 people tell the story for us of our region. Other companies have decided to link to the site in a job description, an online job description. Others embedded our brochure, so we have a digital brochure. One story I want to talk about is a life science company that we have here in the region. They were a new announcement a couple of years ago. They're still filling their jobs, though in the entire scope, they are planning to create 1,000 jobs. And recently I spoke to one of their HR coordinators, and they've decided to relocate one of their departments from the West Coast and relocate that to the facility they have here in our region. And she was tasked with getting as many of those 50 people in that department to move from the West Coast over to the East Coast. And contacted me, and we were able to set her up with digital brochures, mail her promo items and brochures to the West Coast so they'd be there for her, and create some slides that she could use while she was meeting with employees. And she was very thankful, and she said it was very helpful in showing them what the region has for them, and she thinks it'll play a big role in actually getting some of them to relocate. So getting that buy-in from employers has been really crucial to advancing the brand, because ultimately they're the biggest benefiter of this initiative. In my final slide, and the last thing I'll touch on is just some of those more quantitative things that you can't quite measure with a number, though 31 people per day are moving into the upstate. So we do have some people who are leaving. I don't know why, but they are. But we have even more moving in. And fortunately for us, the population that's moving in is actually more educated than the folks who are moving out. So we're seeing a really educated workforce with really strong skill sets moving into our region. A lot of folks talking about why they've decided to move, citing things like a lower commute or better weather. We get a lot of folks from Detroit moving in because they like our sunshine here. So those are some of the successes. I would say the key points are getting that employer buy-in and just being there for them. And that digital marketing has played a crucial role in helping drive people to this really great resource that we've been able to put together for them.
Awesome, thank you. Very, very interesting. It's always cool to see what other communities are doing and the successes with them. Now I will have Tiffany Jelinski from Fargo.
Hey, thanks, Soren. I'm sorry, I feel really bad now that I didn't put together a nice slide or PowerPoint presentation, but I guess it gives us an opportunity to see each other again. So Thanks, Soren, for including me. And it's been fun to listen to more of a broader plan of what you have going on. I want to just say, so from my perspective, when I talk to Soren, I'm going to focus on something that's just a little bit more narrow today, rather than our whole talent attraction plan. But I will say many of the things that you guys have been talking about were so similar with our communities. Again, it's really fun to hear what you're doing. And hopefully some of what I share today through what I've learned will help emphasize, the things that you're focusing on. And like I said, we have a lot of things that really line up well together and similarities. So what I'd like to focus on today is something that I should tell you, we started focusing on workforce back in the late 90s. It hasn't always been me. There was someone in the role ahead of me, but I came into the role in 2005. And when we focus on workforce, everything we do is for primary sector companies in our region. And right now, we think that there's somewhere between 400 and 500 primary sector companies that we're trying to, assist and partner with and support as they're trying to work on talent attraction and retention. So again, rather than focusing on our whole strategy, I wanted to tell you just a little bit of a story about an initiative that we've had in place for a number of years now, and kind of share with you how it came to be and sort of what's happened as we went through the years. So back in 2007, one of our companies that's called John Deere Electronic Solutions, we had a meeting with them and we learned that they had a large number of engineering positions to fill. And they were bringing talent in from the outside to interview. And what was happening is engineers were coming in for the interview. They would go to the airport, go to the company for the interview, go back to the airport, fly home. And then ultimately what ended up happening is a lot of those engineers declined offers. And so, we talked it through with John Deere and we said, what can we do to partner with you? What can we do to support you as you're trying to attract this talent? And we thought about it and we thought, maybe if they saw more of what Fargo-Moorhead was and what we had to offer, maybe that could help them, make a decision to want to come here. So what we did is we worked with HR people from John Deere and we developed what today is called the Live in Fargo Tour. And what it was me literally, what it is and was me literally driving people around in my car, talking to them, answering questions, showing them what Fargo-Moorhead is, what we have to offer. And so it has a few additional pieces with it. We have a pre-tour survey that we send out so that people can sort of specify what they'd like to spend their time on, what sort of things they want to see. It can be as broad or as narrow as they want it to be. I mean, I've had people who've wanted to tour, 3 different schools, where I've had people who wanted to see the whole community. So I can say that with John Deere, so we developed the program. We, over the years, met with many engineers. To date, since about 2007, we've done more than 250 tours. And I can tell you that very quickly, we started getting very positive feedback. And we learned very few engineers were turning down offers because of the community. If they turned down the offer, usually it was something that, was more related to the company or other factors, that were sort of outside of our control. So we heard very early on, both from, sometimes I would hear directly from candidates themselves, and then we had very close communication with the HR people at John Deere. And I should say we do work with many companies outside of John Deere as well. They were just the first company we developed the program with. So one thing that's really important for us with the community tour initiative and with any other initiative is to work very closely with HR people. And that's one of the ways that we really measure how is what we're doing effective? Is it impactful? is it helping HR people? As you guys, I think Rebecca mentioned, and maybe someone else too, that HR people really are your front lines. They're the ones who are talking to candidates. They're the ones who are doing the recruiting. So we keep a very close relationship with them and constantly ask them, you know, are we doing things that help you? What can we do to help you? What sort of needs do you have that you don't have time to develop yourself or don't want to develop yourself? And so we try to be that for them. And I should tell you today, during COVID, one of the things we've done with our tour is that we are in the process of making it a virtual tour. So because of COVID, I can't really drive people around in my car. And so we were sort of on the path to developing a virtual tour anyway. This sort of just accelerated what we were planning to do. So we hope that by late fall and early winter, we'll have the first pieces of that virtual tour ready to go. And the other last thing I just want to say, you guys shared a slide on top factors when considering relocation. And I was going to mention anyway, during visits with people who've been considering relocation here, one of the things that's really nice about having me or someone from my office do the tour is that we are a neutral source. And one of the questions that comes up almost every time, or a great majority of the time, is people want to know, if something falls through with this company that I'm going to go work at, what are my other options? What else is in your community? Where else can I go to work? And I can be that neutral source saying, okay, here's the other companies we have. Here's what the other, you know, positions are. Here's what our industries look like. So anyway, it was nice to see that as well. But just kind of firsthand, I can tell you that yes, people do ask that almost every single time. So anyway, that's kind of a lot of information on just our one initiative. And again, a bit more of a narrow focus than more, you know, of our broad talent attraction strategy. But hopefully it provided a little bit of, you know, info to tell you that yes, talent attraction is important, and staying engaged with your companies like you're already doing is important. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Wonderful, thank you. Absolutely. It really is great to hear how you guys have really been effective, and that the companies in your community really feel your guys' support, which is really important. Thank you. Mike, do you want to take over? And then
sure,
we'll have a little bit of time for question and answer. Thank you.
Sure, I'll close it out on some of the talent initiative programs around the country. And Tiffany, don't feel bad. I should feel worse because I've spent the last 23 years working for Microsoft, and I didn't bring a PowerPoint myself. So I'll just share a couple of highlights here of what we're doing. First and foremost, you know, I'm here in Northern Virginia, Fairfax County, and have a similar role to Soren's in leading our talent attraction and talent initiative for Fairfax County. We're a large county, a large jurisdiction in the suburbs here of Washington, D.C., but I'll say right out of the gate, we both have the same challenges and goals. We need to recruit talent to our regions and support of our local businesses, on our healthcare organizations, the key stakeholders here in our region. And so we're just a little bit ahead of what you guys are, where you are, and we've created the Talent Initiative Program just a little over a year ago. And so I just thought I'd share a couple of the success stories that we've had to help you in sort of building out your strategies. I'd say, first and foremost, the mission that we've had with our Economic Development Authority for its 50-year history has been to recruit businesses and attract talent, or not talent, but businesses to the region. But just in the last 15 months since we've launched this talent attraction initiative, the companies we do have here in the region, and we have lots of large companies in Fortune 500s and, you know, a big jurisdiction, but I would say, and it's been very clear, the feedback since we've launched this talent initiative, that the top value add we are bringing our stakeholders and our recruiting recruiters in our regions and our companies overall is the talent initiative. The feedback has just been amazing. And so I'll share a couple of points of what we're doing. I mean, bottom line, and it was touched on a little bit earlier, I think Soren was talking about some of the strategies that you've had, and maybe Rebecca as well. as you're developing them with DCI. We're taking the burden away from your business leaders, your recruiters, your stakeholders on trying to promote the region. That's what we're doing from the talent initiative standpoint. And it's really starting to pay dividends. So that you as the recruiter, the business owner, the business leader, you can focus on, why come work for my organization, my company. And we in the talent initiative area are focused on, selling the value of our region, which is exactly what Soren and team are really starting to do with DCI. So a couple things we've done, and I'll say that we have contracted with DCI out of the gate too. And I would say they've been instrumental in helping us, build out the brand, our marketing and our talent initiative site. So I've been taking a lot of the feedback and recommendations they've made and putting those to work, and they're paying dividends right out of the gate. With a couple of examples of when we launched, and I'd say you're hearing a lot about social media now. I think more than ever, you have companies across California, across the U.S. that are letting their, you think about, I worked at Microsoft. You've got a lot of companies that are letting their workers work from home for the next year, almost a year. This is when a lot of folks are looking through social media and social media outlets on, where else can I go get a better, balance of life, and where can I have, a better work-life balance. So I think this is a really good opportunity for you. And so we launched this talent initiative website just in April. And the feedback from our recruiters, from our organizations has been just overwhelmingly positive. We are already getting 20,000 hits per month. And it's really some cool things that I think you can implement. And it sounds like you're already thinking about, like cost of living calculators, thinking about things that, value that, you have in Great Falls around taxes and fewer regulations, lower taxes, fewer regulations, whatever you might want to put into your cost of living calculators to entice people to come your way. Finding your neighborhoods. Why do you want to live there? And enjoy the outdoor, landscape that you have, and lots of other things. So this talent initiative website we have is really bringing great value to us in promoting our region. So I think you can leverage that as well. With COVID, we launched virtual career fairs. I think you might want to, test those waters as well, because it's not expensive to do a couple things. You could start engaging with universities. You can develop your own. So we've done a couple of virtual career fairs just in the last 5 months, and we've already connected over 2,000 candidates with hiring companies across our region. So we're doing the heavy lift for you, a recruiter, a business leader. We're bringing that talent to you, these virtual career fairs, and everyone has been overwhelmingly positive with the feedback, and they're hiring from these. And then lastly, I'd say developing partnerships. I mean, we're working with women in technology, for example. Virginia Values Veterans. You have Maelstrom right there with the Air Force Base. I'd say, working with the military transition offices, not only locally there, but across the country to engage and partner with those organizations as military is transitioning out and deciding where do they want to live, to continue a career or retire. And semi-retire. So there's lots of opportunities to partner. A couple things we're doing just to measure that success is, what does the talent traffic look like to our talent site? How many recruiters are we engaging with? What are the number of connections we're making at these virtual career fairs? But I'd say most importantly, it's like, what is the feedback from our companies, from the recruiters? And it has been overwhelmingly positive. When we brief our board of supervisors, our commissioners, this is the number one topic they want to talk about. They're thrilled that our companies are providing positive feedback, and it's just been amazing. So I'll just close with a couple of recommendations that we've seen that have really helped us, which is, embrace new ideas, try different ways to connect with talent, locally and outside of your region. Like I said, DCI was, when they threw some ideas at us, we're like, let's try it. And the virtual career fairs is just one example, and they've just been amazingly successful. And then partner with organizations like the military transition offices and maybe tourism groups, others to really start promoting that on your sites and bringing talent to your region. And then just continue investing in the talent initiative programs you have. The social media outreach, I think, is just critical right now. And so invest in your technology and the social media outreach and your talent site. Think about, when we're all able to travel again, go travel to universities and their career fairs. They have them all the time, and recruit young talent to Great Falls. So with that, I'll just say thanks for the opportunity, and we'll just turn it back over to Soren with some Q&A.
Great, thank you, Mike. I'm just so impressed by all of the communities today. This is the language I speak, talent attraction, and I'm always learning more, and I'm so happy that you guys were able to join us and contribute to this very important conversation right now. So as Mike said, we will transition into question and answer. So do we have any questions? Don't all speak at once.
So I do have a question for our presenters. Great Falls, I think, is probably smaller than most of your communities from whom we heard from. And so when you talked about kind of all roads point to primary sector companies, what do we do if we don't have multiple private sector companies? So if, we've got a few and maybe they're limited to the types of companies or whatever, Brett's given me this look like, Susan, what are you talking about? But I'm just saying that we do have different types of jobs here, but perhaps not to the level that you do. So that's one thing I think that we might struggle with here is, he's just shaking his head. No, boy, I'm going to get in trouble. I serve on his board. So what advice do you have to give us on that?
Soren, I can chime in on that, unless something you'd want to chime in on. Susan, that's one of the great challenges we're working through right now in the marketing strategy, is that when we do talk about alternative job opportunities, because those are so key, we heard from talent in Great Falls, if you're looking for a job in your specific field, it's not necessarily like shooting fish in a barrel. You have to wait for certain positions to open. It's very targeted. But I think right now we see such a great opportunity with remote workers. And our message to remote workers is going to be, bring your job here and transition into the community. We're going to kind of give you the customer service you need to tailor you with a job that's right here in our community. And remote workers also bring trailing partners, trailing spouses who may not want a remote opportunity. They may want to work it somewhere in person. But I think the way that Great Falls shines is maybe you don't have thousands and thousands of jobs in every single industry, but you have that personal touch. And something that I believe in one of our immersion tour meetings, someone said, hey, if someone wanted to move here, I would make like 2 calls and find a job for them. So I think we want to play up that kind of customer approach angle as well.
So we do have a number of open jobs right now. Indeed.com has 658 jobs that are listed. I haven't gone on yet to the Montana Job Service to see how many jobs that those have. And that's just in Great Falls. We look at the whole Golden Triangle, and there's more. We know of over 1,000 jobs that are available right now. And the number one issue we're hearing from employers of all types is their difficulty in recruiting. So we know the demand's out there. It is in a smaller area, more challenging for the trailing spouse or partner. One of the other aspects we're looking at is pitching Great Falls as a wonderful area for entrepreneurs. And we've had experience there where One person has been recruited for their profession, and their partner has didn't find a job in their profession and decided to start a business that has been very successful. So that's another alternative.
We have a question from the chat that asked, will there be a specific website or a video that we can direct candidates to? Yes, we were very excited to release liveingreatfalls.com. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. You can also keep updated with all of the great tools and resources we're putting out for talent attraction and lots of other projects the Great Falls Development Authority is working on. If you subscribe to our listserv, the top 10, so you can go to our website, growgreatfalls.org, and sign up there, and you will never miss those great announcements. So yes, we do have a website, Live in Great Falls. It is comprehensive of anything a person might want to know before moving here. We touch on schools, healthcare, things to do, housing, etc. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. And we are working on producing a video right now also. So we will have that in the coming months for you also. Yes. And then we have another question, which is how much effort is put into getting the buy-in from the locals? And I suppose I can answer that also. It depends. We have a lot of support from the business community doing what we're doing. People are excited about talent attraction because they see it as something that's absolutely necessary in recruiting people to our region to work. For whatever reason, as many people know, there, as with as many communities have, a minority of people who might grumble and say X, Y, or Z about Great Falls and living here or whatever, which, as we've discussed with DCI, you have that in every single community. It's not just Great Falls. But what we really want to see, and we see a big part of talent, not of talent attraction, but what would make the role of talent attraction easier, because we are working with recruiters really closely, but to see from the community, the general community, speaking positively about Great Falls, getting excited about the growth and development we have going on here, instead of always kind of looking at, oh, what's wrong or what don't we have, looking at what we do have, which is plenty and growing.
And I can just add, on the input from the local leaders, recruiters, and just key stakeholders. I think what you're doing here is part of that, which is great. And that's the same thing we've been doing too in our region, and launching now that you've launched liveingreatfalls.com, just, solicit that feedback. That's what we've been doing with our talent initiative website, reaching out to companies, to stakeholders, to recruiters, and they're just continually giving us feedback. We've actually reached out to some of the universities we're working with around the country for their feedback as well, to say, all right, what do we need to do better to help recruit talent, your students to our region? So it's a great question. It's something I would just encourage you to continue to have that collaboration like you're doing here.
Think of it as just a business that has product and services. We're a community and a region. We've been working for years to improve our product, whether it's our schools, our healthcare, our parks, our entertainment, dining, retail opportunities, and housing. And we'll continue to work on improving the product. But from a talent standpoint, if just like your business, if you're not selling what you've got, if you're not marketing what you have, that's been the missing piece. We haven't been actively working together as a community and region to market the area for talent. We think there's some tremendous opportunities. What we're trying to do, of course, is you can waste a lot of money in marketing, and our local investor dollars are very precious. That's why we have been very careful in learning from other communities. We've been talking with other communities for years now. And then we put together an RFP to go out and really look at what are the consulting firms that aren't just talking about talent attraction, but have been doing it and have actual data on what strategies have been working and not working. And I think we received 10 proposals. I forget. We put out so many RFPs, but it was very competitive, and we scored them. And DCI came to the top because of their experience in talent attraction. Because we really want to. We're only measured by our investors by results. So what we're trying to do this first year is that your recruiters tell us at the end of the year that we've provided tools and help and materials online that have helped you be more successful in recruiting talent from outside of town. And then we'll continue to build on that.
Any final question? If not, we can just wrap it up. Thank you. Right on time. This has been a wonderful hour. I hope many of you have learned a bit more about what we're doing, why we're doing it. Please reach out to me if you have any follow-up questions. And I want to be in contact with your recruiters too, in the same way that each of the talent attraction communities and DCI said recruiters are, the front line here for talent attraction. So I have been in contact with many of your recruiters. If I haven't, I am working on it and I want to be. So I will leave it with that. And I will leave my email in the chat if you have any. And Brett,
Thank you, Soren, and thank you to DCI and to our colleagues from around the country for taking your time. We will post DCI's slide deck on the GFDA website, growgreatfallsmontana.org. And again, please connect your recruiters with Soren. One of the key things is we've been connecting recruiters with each other, because the more we can work as a team, the more effective we're going to be. I also want to mention we've got several other investor events coming up. You can go to our website. Tomorrow morning, we have our monthly real estate development coffee at 7 a.m. We're going to be holding an Invest Downtown event that will highlight some of the successes we've had downtown, as well as opportunities for businesses and developers to invest in downtown Great Falls. And then we'll have a business attraction event, because our board has really stepped up. We see a lot of opportunities with all of the economic changes happening in business attraction. So we'll be telling you how we're putting your funds to work in that later in the month. I should know what day that is. But it's all the information's on our website. And if you don't get our top 10, our regular emails, or if you have colleagues that don't get our top 10, you can go to our website and sign up for that. We've been pumping out information on CARES Act grants and resources and what have you on sometimes a daily basis. I apologize that we're flooding you with emails, but there's so much time-sensitive information going on out there. And then finally, I just want to thank all of you for investing in our effort. The Chamber of Commerce has been a great partner in this effort. So is Great Falls Tourism, the Realtors Association, the home builders, everybody out here. This is a team effort, and I think it's the competitive advantage that we can really put forward is that we're all working together and working smart to make things happen that otherwise wouldn't.
great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Soren.
Take care.